This administration has done more with respect to transparency when it comes to Jeffrey Epstein than any administration ever.
He is the most transparent president in memory.
Donald Trump is the most transparent president in our nation's history. We are all acting at his directive, and America will be transparent again as well.
How transparent is the Trump administration?
I got that one. Let me Hermione that one. Not at all. This is the only thing that I can give them credit for in transparency is that the many cover-ups they're doing are transparently buffoonish. And the Epstein files, of course, is the biggest one of that. All of those people know exactly what they are a part of. And if you are a person who is inclined to think that there are like elite cover-ups of sexual predators and that it's all one big incestuous thing where they protect each other for money and power and all that, every one of those people is a knowing, willful part of that. Karoline Leavitt knows that Donald Trump is terrified of what's in the Epstein files. She knows what that means about Donald Trump and what he likely did, and that does not bother her at all. It doesn't bother Pam Bondi. It doesn't bother the pious Mike Johnson, who has alerts go off on his phone and his son's phone if anybody were to masturbate. Oh, unacceptable. But Donald Trump covering up his culpability, his exposure in the Epstein files doesn't matter at all. And he's not gonna fight for transparency at all. These people are grotesque, and the cover up is even more grotesque because they were required by law to release all of the files last Friday. And did they do that? Not even close. They released only a small fraction of the files. Most of what they released had already been released, and a big fraction of the ones that they deigned to give us, and there's a lot that they didn't, they look like this. And so, thank you. So transparent. I guess your love of black Sharpies is transparent and not new. You've been consistent with that, but no, this does not make me feel better, not really at all. Particularly when you don't release most of the files, you redact most of what you do release, and then after you release this piddly little bit, you then snatch back some of it because oops, we let one of the Trump ones go out. And so there were some photos that involved Donald Trump. You can see here, you might not be able to see if you're on mobile, but in that drawer, there's a photo of Trump and Melania, who arguably were introduced by Jeffrey Epstein or whatever. And they decided, actually, let's take that away. Here, you can zoom in. Yeah, thank you. You'll see that. And so they decided, oops, our cover up wasn't 100% iron clad. And so they took those away. And then they tried to make it seem as if it was totally cool that they took those away, with the United States Department of Justice saying it was flagged for potential further action to protect victims. Out of an abundance of caution, we temporarily removed the image to review it and then released it again without alteration or redaction. Don't try to get credit for not redacting things when there's literally hundreds of pages of just black marks, and God only knows what it covers. Maybe it doesn't have anything to do with Donald Trump, or maybe tons of it actually does. We don't get to know because they're not being transparent about this. And there's at least 16 files that also got removed. And this is all like the last bit of removing and covering up and redacting. We're months and months into that. They spent $1 million. They had 1,000 FBI agents combing through, not to find the co-conspirators, not to get justice, not to get Ghislaine Maxwell, to protect Donald Trump specifically. That is what the DOJ's job was for months, was to protect Donald Trump. And then they throw out some photos of Bill Clinton and like Bill Gates or whatever, and that's fine. If they did stuff, then lock them up. I don't care. But they clearly are just releasing that, hoping, and we'll see if it's true, that their base is like, oh good, we got someone. Who cares if Donald Trump, is now his involvement is hidden? Who cares? We didn't really want to get our own guys anyway. We didn't actually care about saving the kids. We just want to get one prominent Democrat or whatever. And we'll see. Maybe they will be successful in that. JR, what do you make of it?
I'm just wondering. I'm trying to figure out. Is it right now that it's no longer a hoax, or is it still a hoax? Because I feel like nobody's gonna ask these guys enough. So it's been a hoax for so long. It's been a hoax for so long that you guys have been trying to redact it, sending folks into overtime hours to make sure they work night and day, to make sure they eliminate certain things. There's been some posts and publications that have talked about the things, not only those pictures of Donald Trump that they later got rid of and then apparently put back out there, but there was also some testimonies from folks who pointed out and named Donald Trump multiple times in these situations, where then they later resubmitted their investigations or their legally binding things that they're supposed to give us, with suddenly blacked out portions that no longer show Donald Trump there. But we already knew that. And as someone else pointed out, I believe it was Melanie Stansberry, also pointed out that his chief of staff said, yeah, he's all through those Epstein files, we know it. So how come we don't see even those very innocent moments of him being listed in these files? Again, this is like 5 to 10% worth. It's odd, isn't it, John?
Yeah, all of those 1,000, 2,000, 3,000 times he appears totally innocently. He just happens to do thousands of cameos, nothing bad. It's all cool. But why can't we see that it's all cool from the most transparent administration ever? It reminds me of, the video of them bombing the survivors of one of their boat strikes. The video that proves it was totally awesome. They were gonna turn over the boat and then they were gonna kill every American. And but we don't want you to see it. The awesome video that proves that we're cool guys. I don't want you to see that thing. I'm inclined to think that you guys might actually be lying. I sense a bit of dishonesty here, and I think that a lot of people do. So great job, not on the transparency, but on the transparent cover up.